rain chances are winding down. However, before the storms moved out, a firehouse was badly damaged. Fire department located 40 miles north of Austin says the severe weather caused. Right now, the National Weather Desk, big storms hit Texas yesterday. We'll take a look at the damage they caused and when the next storm might hit.
Not only are artificial reefs a great place to go for recreation and fishing, it might turn out that they're also a really good place to help mitigate climate change as well.
And we'll take a deep dive into reefs as NOAA celebrates 50 years of national marine sanctuaries.
Fall in Michigan means the leaves change color and the grape harvest is underway. And this year's crop has been exceptional.
Plus, how the weather is helping to improve your after-work wine.
If you're a young girl hoping to go into the field, please come. We desperately need you. Science needs your creativity and your enthusiasm and your commitment and your ingenuity.
We'll also meet a physicist giving a voice to women in science.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Veronica Johnson. Let's start with the weather making headlines this morning. The severe weather threat is over for central Texas, and those rain chances are winding down. However, before the storms moved out, a firehouse was badly damaged. A fire department located just 40 miles north of Austin says that severe weather caused their station doors to be blown off, and part of the roof was also blown off. The fire department said the damage would not prevent them from responding to emergency calls. In other parts of Texas, the severe wind also caused problems, and in one case, a tractor trailer was blown over. Today and Thursday, calmer weather is expected in Texas, but Friday, there could be another quick-moving storm. And better news from Texas now. A nonprofit says ocean reefs could be key in the effort to fight climate change. Now they're teaming up with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley to learn more about how artificial ocean reefs could curb greenhouse gases. Austin reporter Jessica Taylor caught up with the group behind the study.
Texas nonprofit Friends of the RGV Reef and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley are trying to determine if artificial reefs can help fight climate change. To do so, they need to figure out how much carbon the reefs hold on to.
Not only are artificial reefs a great place to go for recreation and fishing, it might turn out that they're also a really good place to help mitigate climate change as well.
Their testbed happens to be the largest artificial reef on the Texas coast. The Rio Grande Valley Reef spans 2.5 square miles.
For eons, reefs have been part of the carbon cycle on the Earth. They have processed carbon, held carbon, given off carbon, but we want to know, what is that number? How much carbon is being held in this reef?
The study is broken down in 3 phases to determine overall biomass of the fish in the reef, how much carbon the shell-building organisms hold, and how much carbon in the sediment composition.
But there's no real numbers, and that's what this study is going to do. We're going to quantify it.
It's not just about the numbers, but also maintaining a functional ecosystem.
We've lost a lot of our natural reefs along the Texas coast already, so mitigating this and having a healthy ecosystem, reef ecosystem, is very important as well. just to the health of the environment in general.
In Austin, I'm Jessica Taylor reporting.
Well, the Pacific Ocean is gearing up for its third year of cool surface temperatures. That's what meteorologists call a La Nina year. That typically means a cooler and a wetter winter for those in the Pacific Northwest. Meteorologist Josh Cosart attended this year's annual snow forecast for Oregon and Washington to answer the big question, when will they have snow?
Thank you, everybody.
The American Meteorological Society came together to forecast what we think as meteorologists will happen this upcoming winter. Anything from cooler temperatures to more rain or even snow in our populated areas. It all happened at OMSI in downtown Portland on Saturday.
The big draw is everybody wants to know, is it going to snow in Western Oregon? And that's what this forecast conference is about.
It's very important for our emergency managers and the public to understand, hey, there is a chance that we could see a snowier than normal winter, or maybe it's going to be warmer than normal, especially for emergency managers that are making long-range decisions. It at least gives them a little bit of a guide or an idea of where they can start.
What we're looking at for this particular winter is we're in a La Nina state.
But even during a La Nina year, there's different variables and strengths of it. It breaks down as followed. A stronger La Nina sometimes means that we see less snow in the valleys, but more snow in the Cascades. A weaker La Nina sometimes means more snow in the valleys and less found in the mountains.
Climatology is an imperfect science, so there's always a chance of error when we're forecasting for climate. So the way that I like to look at it is we have different percent chances of meeting those categories. And just because we're in that pattern, there's so many other features that come into play that impact our climatological patterns and our different weather scenarios.
But if we do get above normal snowpack, cooler normal temperatures, above normal rainfall, this is really good news for drought situations. Does it erase the drought? No, but it puts a big dent in it. Doesn't always pan out that way, but the largest percentage of them do.
It's definitely a toss-up at this point. We don't have enough data right now that looks at multiple years of these La Nina patterns to say with any ounce of certainty, hey, we're going to see this repeat type scenario.
So if you're debating on getting one of those seasonal ski passes, I think it's safe to do so. As for when we might see the first snow in our populated areas across the Pacific Northwest, only time will tell.
If you would like to hear more from Josh, head on over to our Instagram page where we post all of his latest content. Just search the National Weather Desk. Well, the grape harvest is underway in South Michigan, and for winemakers, this has been a very good year. The reason? Well, the weather, of course. Meteorologist Lynette Grant is just north of South Bend, Indiana, with more.
Fall in Michigan means the leaves change color and the grape harvest is underway. And this year's crop has been exceptional.
Matthew Morsch pours his heart and soul into winemaking. He is part of a generation of winemakers and has fond memories of this time of year.
This is my favorite part, so bringing in the grapes that we've been tending to all year and having a really nice crop.
Michigan is famous for its wineries. Part of the reason is because the geography and weather patterns of this region bring ideal growing conditions for grapes.
It's because we get that buffering, so same thing during frost season and in the wintertime, that few degrees temperature makes just a really big difference, and we're lucky, we still have leaves and we're still able to produce sugar.
Grapes endure cold winters, wet seasons, droughts, and heat. This year's weather was nearly perfect for the grapes, even with the lack of rain.
It's good in early season for plant health, but it actually introduces bacteria and molds and dilutes sugars and flavors, so we have to be very conscious of when we pick and when the weather patterns are.
Grapes that'll be used to make ice wine are a unique crop. They cannot be picked until temperatures reach 17 degrees. This is because the grape itself needs to be frozen before being pressed.
So we're tasting these today, they're probably 25% sugar. When they're harvested, they'll be 70% sugar, so there's no water left, and they're like marbles.
Reporting in Berrien County, I'm Lynette Grant.
Ice Vine, my favorite. Well, we get a ton of pictures from you, the viewer, and sometimes those pictures come with questions. Recently, we were sent some photos of a foggy morning at Lee Henry Dam with the question, why does fog form over the water but not the land? So let's head to meteorologist Taylor Serrallo in Birmingham, Alabama with the answer.
Sherry Lang sent us these photos of a foggy morning at Neely Henry Dam. Sometimes on a cool morning, you'll notice fog forming over a body of water. This is because the water is actually warmer than the air. The water will warm a thin layer of air near the surface. This thin layer then wants to rise. As it does, it cools and condenses, and that's what causes the fog over the water. Sometimes it'll look like steam is rising from the lake.
And at the National Weather Desk, our weather stories focus on the United States, but every now and then stories from other countries make news here. One example is a Sunday evening tornado that caused extensive damage to this church in parts of northern France. Inside the building, look at the chairs. They're broken. The plaster piled up on the floor. 2/3 of the houses in the area were damaged, and more than 100 people had to be moved to shelters. Surprisingly, only one report of a minor injury. All right, before we go to break, let's pause here just for a moment to test your weather wit. What type of cloud produces a severe thunderstorm? The answer coming up right after this short break.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. It's an unsettled stretch in the Northeast with a lot of clouds. There'll be some showers and areas of drizzle again today. Temps are starting in the 50s. Now, the rule today will be skies will be brightest over western areas, particularly in New York here. Temperatures are warmest in the 70s. For the most part, we're going to stay in the 60s today. There'll be a few areas of drizzle throughout the afternoon and evening. Another round of rain moves into New England on Wednesday. That front to our west, that means clearing for Thursday.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region up and down the 95 corridor, starting with some clouds, some drizzle, maybe a little bit of fog here and there, and some sprinkles during the day on our Tuesday. As our latest weather maker, a diminishing coastal low continues to kind of spin right off the coast of the Carolinas and the Delmarva, and that's going to keep a lot of the temperatures up and down the corridor as well in the cool zone in the upper 60s to low 70s. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your highs for today. We're looking at mid-70s across the area. Raleigh 74, Atlanta 77, Nashville 75, Mobile 82. You get down into Florida, mid-80s, feeling pretty good in Tampa and West Palm. Plenty of sunshine, high pressure over the southeast. Going to keep us nice and dry as we go through the day on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, it looks like we do have a front that's going to be pushing through parts of Atlanta, maybe some late storms, and then into the Carolinas, possibly some storms overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
Before the break, I asked what type of cloud produces a severe thunderstorm. The answer? Did you get it? Hope you did. It's a cumulonimbus cloud. Heavy rain, high winds, even some hail at times. Now let's check to see the weather in cities across the country today. Let's take a look at Troy, New York. You can see some fog just now starting to lift there. They've got some showers that are expected this afternoon. High temperatures in the low 70s. Next up, we're going to head to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where, as you can see, still socked in with fog. A lot of the eastern cities have been this morning. That fog will give way to some afternoon sunshine and a high temperature of 72 degrees. And then north and west of there, Dayton, Ohio, mixture of clouds and sunshine. Looking pretty nice right now for the early morning hours, but a chance of showers due for the afternoon, upper 70s for temperatures later today. And lastly, we'll head to Bay City, Michigan, where right now it's cloud-free, but clouds are on the increase for late day. Mostly cloudy, maybe even a little bit of rain coming the way with a high temperature of 75 degrees. Well, British physicist Jess Wade went to Wikipedia one day to look up information on a female colleague. She was shocked to find nothing, zero, zilch. In fact, she found a huge gender gap in scientists represented on Wikipedia, so she started writing bios. In fact, she has written now over 1,700 bios on female scientists. Jess recently spoke to Emily Gracie about the mission to give a voice to women in science.
So Wikipedia is, this democratized access, open access platform for knowledge sharing. But it has a huge problem. And that huge problem is that the majority of people who contribute to it are men. The majority of people who contribute to it are actually white men from the Northern Hemisphere, especially from North America. So at the beginning of 2018, I started every single day writing Wikipedia biographies of scientists and engineers from historically marginalized groups. And it was like it's just amazing. It's like a drug, right? Like on the one hand, I'm doing something that's really honoring them. And I love seeing people get recognition. It's my favorite thing in the world if they've done something awesome. But at the same time, I'm like learning every single night. I'm learning a new field of science or a different state or like an obscure high school that someone went to, and you get to do all that learning as well. And I think it kind of inspired so much in me and an appreciation of history and archives and all of this. So yeah, I realized it, I had to act on it, and it's just been so much fun.
So this is having probably immediate impact, right?
So yeah, you have this kind of immediate, quite subtle way of taking information to people who could potentially be inspired or could put that person forward for an award, or is arranging a conference and needs to find an expert in optical materials to invite, and now has someone who's from a much more diverse background than they'd originally thought. So yeah, in kind of sneaky and subtle ways, it's really powerful.
Do you have any advice to young women who are struggling with this every day, or young girls who are hoping to go into the field?
If you're a young girl hoping to go into the field, please come. We desperately need you. Science needs your creativity and your enthusiasm and your commitment and your ingenuity, because we really need to make discoveries to save this planet and also to protect and learn from each other. So please come in.
Just had a lot more advice for women who currently working in science. To check out the entire unedited version of the interview, just search the National Weather Desk on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Of course, don't forget to hit the little bell so that you can get notified when we add more great content. Well, the general deer hunting season kicked off this past weekend, and for many places, winter weather is not far off. But hunters who are excited for deer season to start say that snow isn't going to keep them away. For more, we head to Salt Lake City, Utah, where Haley Crumbleholm reports.
People have been waiting all year, pretty excited to get up on the mountain and do some deer hunting.
Dave Veronio is the manager for the Thousand Peaks Lodge for the R&K Hunting Company.
Our lodge up there that we're working at is at 8,500 feet, and we hunt all the way up to 11,000 feet.
And at that elevation, snow can certainly be part of the equation.
It's definitely going to change with the precipitation. Not only does it make it harder on the mountain with the roads, but also the animals.
During the storm, animals tend to tuck in and make themselves scarce.
After the storm, they start coming out because after being pounded for a day, 2 days in the storm, they start to move around a little bit more.
And Dax Mangus, Big Game Program Coordinator for the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources, says that can be a good and a bad thing.
If you're prepared, this cold weather and the snow can make for really good deer hunting. If you're not prepared, you can put yourself in a life-threatening situation.
Mangus says they've issued around 75,000 permits for the general deer season, and sometimes the first storm of the year can catch people off guard. He wants people to be prepared, especially if they're in the backcountry. Let someone know where you're going and when you'll get back.
Communicate with folks. Make sure you bring extra layers, bring water, maybe a lighter, some matches, something to start a fire if you do end up getting really cold and you're in a predicament.
But even with the potential for tough winter conditions, Veronio says hunters will be ready to head out as soon as the storm breaks.
As soon as they get a hole in the storm, it breaks a little bit, and they'll be on the mountain ready.
Most of us love the colors of fall, but do you know what causes leaves to turn from green into those fabulous bright colors? Here's today's lesson from Washington, D.C. meteorologist Bill Kelly.
First, I always like to go back. Okay, so picture the summertime, right? This is what the tree looks like. You have the sunshine that's out. You got the beautiful sunlight rays that are shining in. It's that sunny day, and everything's green, especially if we've had a lot of water and things are healthy, right? Well, the reason that the trees are green is because of something called chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is a green pigment that is inside of those leaves, and what it does is it actually captures the sunlight here, okay, and it turns the sunlight into food for the leaf and for the plant. It's basically the way that the tree and the plants create their own food. It's called photosynthesis. Okay, so we got the sunlight shining down on the trees, the chlorophyll, in fact, I'll get you a closer look here. We'll kind of bring this up. That chlorophyll is into the trees, and I can kind of step into the shadowing of the trees here. Okay, now, during the summer, with all the ample sunshine, the chlorophyll is constantly reproduced in these leaves here. So it's just continuous. So what you're seeing on the green leaves is the chlorophyll itself. You're really not seeing the color of the leaf. You're seeing the green pigment of the chlorophyll. So then what happens in the fall? Well, in the fall, with less sunlight, I'm going to get down a little bit lower here. In the fall, with less sunlight, the production of chlorophyll, which again is that pigment that is green, well, it starts slowing down, and then eventually it stops. And when the chlorophyll production stops, when it does, that green pigment that's there goes away. And then you see the actual color of the leaves. And that's what we were talking about. You kind of think the opposite, like, okay, well, the leaves are kind of dying and then you get the color. No, no, no. The color of the leaves here, it's always that color. You're just not seeing it because what you're seeing instead is the chlorophyll, which again is green and it captures the sunlight, creates photosynthesis. So then let's go past that, okay? So right now we're seeing all the changes going on. Well, as the days continue to get shorter, we're losing daylight hours, of course, every day, and the colder temperatures start arriving, the leaves then dry up completely. They lose all of their pigment. So they lose the reds and the yellows and the oranges and all those things. And you know what it looks like here. Of course, all those things fall off. The trees turn brown. They eventually fall off the tree. And what once was that gorgeous green tree that we had in the summertime now looks like that. And if you have any trees along your yard, or like in my case, I have a lot of trees in my yard. You got to take the blower and blow it all out. And the process reproduces every single year. And that is why leaves change color.
Low pressure continues to move across portions of the Great Lakes region. With that, we have colder air behind it. Bismarck, 47 for a high. Des Moines, Iowa, 54. Still in the warm sector through portions of Illinois to Ohio in the mid-70s. Rain chances will roll through starting pretty much early on through Illinois, Indiana, then making its way into the Ohio River Valley and continuing the rain chances not just Tuesday night, but through a good portion of the Wednesday hours.
Happy Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo with Look at Your Forecast across the region. Cold front moving through the east, expecting showers and storms today. New Orleans up towards Little Rock. Most of us, though, enjoying these cool northwesterly winds. Much cooler today. 60s and 70s for highs across Oklahoma and Texas. Overnight, a cool one. 40s and 50s for overnight lows with clear skies and still breezy northwest winds. Have a great day.
Well, happy Tuesday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, it's finally starting to look and feel a lot more like October should. After that endless summer going, things are back to normal and then some around Seattle and Portland. New disturbance on deck will drop us into the 50s through Puget Sound and the Willamette Valley later today. 64 in the city by the bay versus 39. That's sounding cold in Jackson Hole. That's because of this disturbance dropping into the Four Corners region as we head into our Tuesday night. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
This smoke from a grass fire in Arkansas. A good portion of the state has been affected by drought, making it ripe for more wildfires than usual. But Little Rock meteorologist James Bryant says they are expecting rain. Meanwhile, in Utah, weekend snow and autumn evidence peeking through. These fall colors hanging on, the leaves not going gently into the night.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Twitter.
Well, it only takes a short time for the weather to change. Recently, we showed video from meteorologist Jed Kristoff, who was basking in fall colors in Montana. We'll take a look at the Montana snow. Thanks for spending a little part of your morning with the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Veronica Johnson. Make it a wonderful Tuesday and keep an eye in the sky.